This is the Brand Accelerator of the Month. Success stories brought to you from the top 1% of British action-taking entrepreneurs. This month we have Raymond Aaron. Raymond, tell us about your business. How did you get into doing this?
Well, when I started out, I graduated as a physicist. And after working as a mathematician and physicist, I realized that I wasn't helping anybody. I was solving complex problems for companies and for government, but I didn't see any actual individual person who got help by anything that I did. And because I wasn't enjoying what I was doing and perceived that I wasn't helping, I was helping companies, but I didn't feel that that was much value. I mean, it is valuable if that's what you want, but it's not what I wanted. And so at age 39, I found myself completely broke, 100,000 pounds in debt. My wife had kicked me out of our marriage. My boss had just fired me. I was clinically depressed. And I had no future, no hope. It was horrible. And I realized at one point I had to change, but I couldn't figure out what to do. A coach took me under his wing and completely changed me around, branded me in a very interesting and unique way. And as soon as I was branded, I immediately turned my life around. I immediately started realizing what the purpose of my life was, and that was to be a teacher. And the branding put me onto a large enough platform that people wanted me to be their teacher because I was branded. If I just said I'm a teacher, people would say, so who cares? Yeah. And all of a sudden my life turned around, and I went from earning almost nothing and being horribly in debt to being out of debt in 1 year, 100,000 pounds gone. The first time I was out of debt in my entire adult life, and in one more year, age 41, I was a millionaire, and I've never looked back. And that's what branding did for me. And I had heard of branding before I was 39 years old. I'd heard of it, but I thought branding was like Lexus cars is branded, and Lamborghini cars is branded, and Apple computers is branded. I thought giant companies like Nike and Coca-Cola had a brand, but I didn't think ordinary people had a brand. I thought ordinary people just ran a hardware store, or they were a medical doctor or something. I didn't know that branding was for every single person in business and every employee, because employees need raises and promotions and job offers. And all of a sudden, age 39, my coach taught me this. I got branded. It changed my life. My income skyrocketed, and I now run 40 companies, brands, and websites, all of them profitable. I earn a huge amount of money every month, every year. I take a 1-week vacation every month, and I take a 1-month vacation every other year. I lead the most wonderful life, helping people all around the world. I speak all around the world, and it all happened at age 39 when I got branded.
So it all started when somebody branded you?
Yes, because I didn't know what it meant. In fact, as I just said, I had the wrong...
Many business owners don't do that. They don't know what branding is. They don't get it.
97% of British entrepreneurs are not branded. And as I said before, I thought branding was a thing that giant corporations had. I thought that Heinz ketchup was branded, but not Raymond Aaron, not Bill Smith, not the guy who runs the hardware store. I didn't know that little guys could be branded. I didn't even understand the concept, and so I wasn't branded. I was in the sea of sameness, and when I am in the sea of sameness, as all other entrepreneurs mostly are, then other people decide on you based on the lowest price, because if you're all the same, you might as well get the lowest price. And now people don't want the lowest price from me. They want me. And when they want me, they'll pay anything to get me. And they say things like, no, I don't want one of your staff. I don't want one of your coaches. I want you, Raymond. Well, the funny thing is, one of my coaches might do a better job. I'm not saying they would. I'm just saying the person who wants me doesn't know that I can do a better job than the coaches. Maybe one of my coaches is better than me. They don't care. They want me. Why do they want me? They haven't looked at my track record. They haven't looked at my coach's track record. They just know that I'm branded, so they want me. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm using that as an example. Whoever is branded. Like recently, I was the master of ceremonies at the largest business conference in the history of the United Kingdom. And the final speaker was Bill Clinton, and I got to introduce Bill Clinton.
Awesome.
Well, I was very honored. I was very honored. But the day before, the promoter told me he's still not sure if Clinton's going to show up because Clinton had a sore throat.
Right.
And I said to myself, oh my God, there's 10,000 people in the audience, and I'm the guy that has to stand up tomorrow and say, remember Bill Clinton was supposed to come here? I got somebody just like him. Don't worry. Because there is no one like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, because of his brand.
Because of his brand. There's no one like Sir Richard Branson.
Yeah.
There are speakers better than Sir Richard Branson. He's not actually a dazzling speaker at all. He's a very subdued speaker. If he weren't Sir Richard Branson, if he was just out there on this circuit trying to make a dollar, make a quid as a speaker, he wasn't a particularly good speaker.
Yeah.
But he's Sir Richard Branson. He started 400 companies, all called Virgin.
Yep.
So I was dreading.
And effectively, he's built a brand where he could put that brand to any company.
To anything.
And he could sell
anything.
it, and he still retains his brand.
That's
because
right.
it's his personal brand, which is very interesting.
And so I was living in dread that on the final day, when everybody is jammed into their chairs waiting to see Bill Clinton, that I would be the one to say, you know what, I'm just going to bring in somebody else who's like Bill Clinton. Because they would have laughed, they would have booed me off the stage.
Yeah.
It's not that he's the greatest speaker in the world, but he is a really good speaker. It's rather that there's only one Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
There's only one guy who has ever been the president of the United States for 8 years, and who started the Clinton Global Initiative, and whose wife might become the next president. I mean, he's totally unique.
Yeah.
You can't just bring in somebody else. Oh, let's do Elton John instead. Like, there is nobody.
But had you not built your brand, you wouldn't even have been in that position to be asked to introduce a brand of another super high standard.
Everything is about branding.
Yeah.
Everything is about branding. It's not how much you know, it's whether they think you know a lot, which is your brand.
And so when you started, how many years ago was this?
Well, I'm 69 now.
Okay.
And at 39, I was completely broken, horribly in debt, and unemployed and divorced. And so for 39 years, I made a complete failure of myself. And then for 30 years, I've had gigantic income, a wonderful life. I've got the most wonderful wife, 2 daughters, 2 stepdaughters, 4 grandchildren at the moment. And I
suppose building your brand gives you a chance to spend time with them.
Yes.
And so what would you say when you first, in the period over the last 30 years, what have been some of the biggest marketing mistakes and challenges, would you say, that you've had?
Well, the marketing mistake that I made before 39 years old was that I wasn't branded, and I actually wouldn't have wanted to promote myself because I didn't like what I was doing. If somebody had said to me, for 1 quid, I'll bring you in $100,000 worth of business, I would have said, I don't want it because I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. Why would I want to do more of it? Yeah. And so I wasn't branded, and I didn't like what I was doing, so I didn't want more business. But I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know you're supposed to love what you do. And now, I don't want to say I don't make mistakes. That sounds very pompous. But I'm doing what I love, and I'm branded. The branding brings me in more clients, so I can do more of what I love.
That's no brainer.
That part is right, and that's what I've been
doing.
So
the biggest mistake is not having a brand.
Not having a brand, and not doing what I love, so I didn't even want to be branded at it. Even if I knew what it meant.
And how many people are out there completely unconscious to that? I mean, they think that branding is a logo, and they don't realise that it just goes down so much deeper than that. So much deeper.
Exactly.
Your brand is what other people say you are, not what you
That's
say
right.
you
This
are.
is interesting, and I want to expand on what you just said. People say, oh, I don't want to boast. They think that branding is boasting, and I want to clarify that, because the words sound the same, and it feels reasonable that branding is boasting, because it implies that you're talking about yourself.
Yes.
And that you're so wonderful that other people should know you're wonderful. But here's the distinction. Boasting is Raymond talking about Raymond. Branding is other people talking about Raymond.
Yes, absolutely.
There's no boasting involved. If other people say, have you heard about Raymond? He's amazing. He's a great coach. He can really help you. You can get branded and you'll make more money. If other people are saying nice things about me, that's branding.
Yes, definitely.
It's got nothing to do with boasting. Boasting is Raymond talking about Raymond, but nobody's interested in that.
So what would you say in this amazing career and all the experience that you have, which obviously our Brand Brain readers, they're going to be thirsty for this. Some of them are going to be new businesses, others are going to be businesses that are in a real crisis and saying, what the hell do I do to build my brand? What would you say are the top 3 things that you've done so far that have helped you to achieve the most in your business?
I'm going to limit it to 1.
Okay.
Because I could give you 3, but the top one is so far ahead of the second and third that they're not even in the ballpark.
Okay.
And the answer is simple. When you brand yourself, there's different ways to brand yourself. One is you can brand by association. So if you typically hang with Sir Richard Branson
Sure.
and the Pope and the Dalai Lama,
And Bill
people go,
Clinton.
whoa, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
But if you're not associated with likes like that, the next thing is you can brand by achievement. So Lance Armstrong, until we found out that he was doping, had a gigantic brand because he won the Tour de France 7
Sure,
times.
yeah.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger won Mr. Universe so many times. Like, you can have gigantic achievements. You can win a Nobel Peace Prize. You can win the gold medal. But you may not have giant achievements.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of ways to brand yourself. Another one is your appearance. Like, how do you look? You can downgrade your appearance by having a big ugly tattoo on your face and having all kinds of metal on your face, which you might think it's attractive, but other people, they see that and they have a certain...
Yes.
Okay. So there's lots of ways to brand yourself, but the one that works so much better than all the others is writing a book.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm on stage in front of 10,000 people, and I give that as an example because that's the level where they'll have a professional introducer,
Yep.
professional
Yes.
master of ceremonies. They'll say, Raymond Aron, New York Times top 10 best-selling author. That's not the only thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
I wrote one book that was New York Times number 10. I've written a total of 8 books.
Yeah.
But it's as if that's the only thing I've ever done. I've helped 100,000 people get rich really fast.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
I might have my own television show. I was one of 40 teachers in the world interviewed for the blockbuster hit movie
Yeah,
The Secret.
The Secret.
I am in the who's who. I've written a For Dummies book. I've written 2 Chicken Soup
Yeah.
books. Nobody cares. They just want to know Raymond Aron, New York Times
Yes,
top 10 bestselling.
yeah. Well, it's a good strap line.
There's something
It's a good strap
about
line.
a book that just blows people
Yeah.
away.
Well, it's interesting. You touched on Lance Armstrong a few minutes ago, because you can build a negative brand as much as when you build a brand, you need to protect it. And just having that one incident that was
That's
leaked out to the press, he completely destroyed his brand, didn't he? As
Yes.
fast,
And there's
it
lots of
probably took
examples.
years to build that up, and then just in one stupid
right.
move, he's completely undone his
But
brand.
he's not the only one. O.J. Simpson
Yeah.
was a great movie star and a great football player, and then he stabbed a lady.
But then he
Right.
wrote a book, and then he built his brand again.
People are not that forgiving. They're not that forgiving. Now, Martha Stewart lied about insider trading, and she went to jail, but it was like cupcake prison. It was like 6 months, and it was nothing. And given enough time, she will recover. But Oscar Pistorius in South Africa, shooting his gorgeous blonde wife on the toilet 4 times in the face on Valentine's Day, no. He's not going to recover from that.
No.
So he spent his lifetime building his brand, and O.J. Simpson did, and yet you can kill it in a second. But think about this. Bill Clinton had an affair.
Yes, that is true.
But he recovered. Why? Because he was always known as a woman's man. He's good looking. Women loved him. Women would say, I voted for him because he's so gorgeous. And so the fact that he has an affair is somehow consistent.
Yeah.
So I don't want to condone an affair, but Tiger Woods did not have a woman's man brand. He had a family man brand.
Yeah.
He was a nice person. He never swore. He was always gentle. When it turns out that he had like 9 gorgeous women a night for several years, they ain't going to forgive him.
That's a different type of brand.
That's right. And so
the branding by association is massive there. Because your name and your brand, they're connected, and you can't disconnect them once you've got that brand. So who would you say, speaking of celebrities and people, very well-known people, who would you say have been your biggest influences to date?
Albert Einstein, because I'm a physicist.
Okay.
And I love that he was famous. He was possibly the greatest physicist of all time, but if you read quotes about him, the quotes are all about humanity. His quotes are about being human. So that's what I love about him, that he was a great physicist, but it's the spiritual aspect of him. And another one of my mentors is Jack Canfield, a dear friend of mine.
Yes. You co-wrote a book with Jack, didn't
I
you?
co-wrote 2 books with him,
Yeah.
yes. And the reason is, there's a lot of people who, when they get instant fame, turn a bit ugly, they get bigger than themselves.
Sure.
And he's as gentle and as humble as ever. I love that about him, and I'm very careful to do that to myself. I, on purpose, lower my head size whenever I get enormous adulation from the crowd.
Yeah.
I will make sure I put myself down a bit before I go home. The last thing my wife wants is for me to come in saying how great I am.
Bouncing through the door.
That's right. And so I'm careful to model Jack Canfield to be honorable and humble and gracious and be filled with gratitude as opposed to being filled with myself.
Sure. That's amazing. And I should imagine that if you had a dream team that were around your house for dinner, who would they be? Would he be on your table?
I have one sister, and I always wish that I had a brother. And if I had a brother, he would be my first request.
Really?
If God said to me, Raymond, you can have a brother, who do you want? I'd choose Jack. Not because I'm trying to grab his publicity or something. Like a lot of people would say, I want a sister, and they would choose some gorgeous movie star. That's not what I'm talking about. I love his personality. I love playing with him. I'm so happy that I go on vacation with him twice a year.
Yeah.
He's just so sweet and humble and gracious, and I just love that about him.
Excellent. And it's just so valuable, isn't it, to have people on your team. And it doesn't matter if they're famous even. It's just a genuine person.
Yes.
They just happen to have... I'm a big kind of fan of, don't go after the money. When you love what you do and you wake up every morning and you have that purpose, which both you and Jack have, you naturally will impact on people, and the money will almost kind of come in itself because you're magnetic. You're a magnetic person. So who else would you have in your dream team?
I love Dr. John Gray. Dr. John Gray is so funny, and he's so knowledgeable, and he's so willing to share that whenever, like, we're doing a recording now, and whenever I want to do a recording with Dr. John Gray, I say to him, I just want 3 minutes. He says, 3 minutes, fine. But then he doesn't stop for an hour because he just loves sharing. So if I'd asked him for an hour, he'd probably say, no, I don't want to give you an hour. So I ask him for 3 minutes, and he goes on for an hour.
Yeah.
And I love that about him.
Yeah.
I love that he's so willing to share, that Jack is so humble, even though he's so wise. They're such wonderful people, and I'm so glad to have Marcy Shimoff, who wrote every one of the women's soul books in the Chicken Soup series.
Okay.
And she also wrote Happy for No Reason, which is a wild bestseller. We have an agreement this lifetime that I'll do anything she asks, and she'll do anything I ask. We never have to worry.
Yeah.
And so because of that, we're very careful on what we ask. Like, if I need a speaker for one of my events, I'll call her up and she'll say, sure, I'll do it for you. Just like that. She doesn't charge me, I don't charge her.
Yeah.
We just help each other. And to have a world famous person just willing to do anything for you, it's just, what a joy. My life is so full of joy.
Oh, it's just lovely, absolutely lovely. So what would you say is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given? Because it may well have been given to you by one of these fabulous people.
Well, we're talking about branding a lot, so it's kind of repetitive to say that branding was the thing that changed my life. But to go from age 39 to age 40 and be out of 100,000 pounds of debt, and then 40 to 41 be a millionaire because I got branded, that's got to be the best
Did they
one.
say to you, though, you have to get a brand? What was it?
Yeah,
was the advice, you have to go and get a brand?
You have to be branded. I said, what is that? I don't even know what you're talking about. They said, write a book. I wrote a book. It was not a particularly good book, but that's the book that did it. And, of course, many other rules have God first, be transparent, tell the truth, think of the long term. There's so many life lessons that I've learned that I wouldn't want to live without. But when I say those, they just seem ordinary. Yeah. Because, everyone knows that, tell the truth. Sure, everyone tells the truth. They think they tell the truth, but when I confront people, they realize they don't tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like I say to somebody, if somebody you like gives you a gift that you don't like, what do? I say, I always say thank you, I love it. So I say, see, so you don't tell the truth. But most people don't tell the truth. Yeah. It's easy to tell the truth when there's nothing at stake. But the character that you are comes across when there's something at stake. And so I have 3 sentences that I use when someone gives me a gift that I don't like. Like if you had just given me a gift I don't like,
sure.
I would say, I love you. I love that you gave me a gift. I don't love the gift.
This is
That's
really
it.
interesting because, as a branding agency, we've just sold our branding agency business so that we could purely focus on Brand Brain magazine. And it's over the years, many years we've been doing this. Over the years, we've had people that have come to us. They've spent their money with us. We've created the most amazing brand, and like a gift, it has been given to them. So there you go. You can fly now. And then they've not respected it and not done anything with it. And I suppose that can be completely frustrating for someone like yourself who's making such a huge impact on such a grand scale. And your brand is, it's got that heartbeat going out to so many people. But when they don't do what they could with it, that must really frustrate you.
It does. It hurts me. And one of my coaches told me a long time ago when I came across this for the first time, I've been on stage for 30 years. And shortly after I started noticing that some people were taking what I said and making a fortune. Other people were taking what I said and doing nothing with it.
Yeah.
And so I asked my coach, what should I do? And he said, Raymond, if you're honorable, if you're offering products that actually deliver what you say at an honorable price, and they choose not to do it or to give up on themselves in spite of your honorable best efforts, that's their path this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And so I allow people to give up on themselves. I do my best to stop them.
Yep.
I do my best to encourage them to reignite. My team keeps working with them to hopefully recapture their excitement. But there's a certain point where we say, you know what, if you want to give up on yourself that much, I'm not going to stop you, and that might be your path this lifetime. Mm-hmm. That's how best I can say. It doesn't feel nice to say it.
Sure.
But it's a sad reality.
Yeah, unfortunately. And I mean, you have lots of people that will come to a conference and they are either in a place of desperation or wanting inspiration. And, they're all mini brands, aren't they, in themselves? And it's just...
They wish they are, but they're not.
Can you tell when you meet someone? Do you see it in their eyes? Or
I can tell... I have a pretty good idea within a sentence or two if someone's going to make it or not.
Uh-huh.
I can see by their excitement, by their positive mental attitude, by their level of self-esteem, by the glow in their eyes, by the smile, by how they present themselves. I can get a really good rough draft on whether they're going to be on the good side or the bad side.
Sure.
And after I speak to them for maybe 10 minutes, it's like I guarantee I know exactly. Because if they start talking about their illnesses and this happened to them and that went bad and I did this great thing for somebody and they didn't respect it, if they start telling me woe is me stories, they're never going to be successful.
Sure.
If they use negative language instead of positive language, then I know they're not going to be successful. And when I get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 clues in a row, which I can pick up in just several minutes, it's going to be a tough road for them to make a lot of money.
I suppose it could be argued that many people are, they're looking for their mission, they're looking for it, and when you find someone that genuinely knows what their mission is, so for example, like with you, it's so lovely to hear on stage that you have another mission other than to help people, but with your charity, you do the charity work, so that gives you that extra incentive to know by helping these people, that is in turn going to help this group of people, and it's a win-win situation. It helps everybody, and that's just absolutely wonderful. Tell us a bit more about the charity, because I think it's so lovely.
The foundation that I've started is called Eyes of Children. The website is eyesofchildren.com, and I get ophthalmologists to donate their time for free. They fly from England, Canada, the United States, typically from those 3 countries, to war-torn countries.
Yep.
And they help underprivileged kids by doing eye operations for them, so they go from not seeing to seeing. And I don't pay their crazy fees, and the local village puts them up and gives them food. And all I pay for is the physical tools they need, like the sterilization equipment, the needles, the scalpel. That's all. Just the physical tools. And so I can save a child's eyesight for £25.
That's amazing.
For £25.
Yeah.
If one of my daughters or grandchildren was at the risk of losing their eyesight, I would sell my home. I would sell every piece of real estate I own.
Yeah.
I would put millions of pounds into some program to save my daughter's eyesight, and I can save kids' eyesight for £25. It's insane. And so that's what I do, and I'm moved by that.
It's amazing. What an incredible achievement. So, I mean, what are some of your other most heartwarming achievements been for you, business or otherwise?
Well, I haven't been successful in my love relationships in the past. I just didn't understand. I didn't treat my wives specially. I didn't cherish them. And I just woke up recently and realized that was the last area of my life that I wasn't leading well. I kept saying, God, how come I get money and not love this lifetime? What the hell is it? Why don't I get love and money? And I got an answer. I was startled. The answer was, because you do the things you need to do to get money, but you don't do the things you need to do to get love. I said,
right.
Oh.
And when one of your best friends is written, men are from Mars, women...
That's right.
Yeah.
And so he wrote, Dr. John Gray wrote my proposal.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Submit it to the universe.
I wasn't going to take a chance on this. I found a woman that was so wonderful.
Oh, lovely.
And I said, I'm not going to screw this one up.
Yeah.
And so I called Dr. John Gray, and he wrote my proposal. And I wasn't going to let this woman go. She's so wonderful. I treat her well. I know what she likes. She likes foot massages. She likes Starbucks cappuccino, extra hot. That's what she likes, with a little package of brown sugar. And
attention to detail.
Oh man, I give her all the things that she wants. I keep in touch with her all the time. I do, like, instead of phoning and getting voicemail, because I'm in a wildly different time zone to her when I'm traveling to Africa and Singapore. Yeah. And so what I do is I make a little video. I just open up my iPhone and I press video and I say, "Hi, sweetheart, it's Raymond. I'm tired," or "But I love you and I'm thinking of you." It's just like 10, 20
what a way
seconds.
to keep connected.
And then I send it, and it's free to send it. And she gets these little videos and she giggles and she shows her girlfriends. But she would never tell her girlfriend, "I got a text message from my husband." Like, who cares? Yeah. So I don't do what's ordinary. I do what she feels cherished by. Yeah.
Which is another, it does come down to that. I know that this is in a relationship-wise, but that's exactly how a business owner should treat their customers. You do those extra special things that no one else is doing, and that they will talk. We had a customer who referred us to another client, and I went out of my way to get him some branded cufflinks in the colour of his brand, because I know he's a keen networker. In fact, I've written an article on it in the magazine in issue 3, and it was so outstanding. I bought him this pair of cufflinks with the only intention of he can wear them, and it's got his brand colours and it'll make him look smart. He went and told everybody about these cufflinks, and I didn't have any idea of the impact that would have. But it is attention to detail, and it's taking it into every area of your life, not just business, not just personal.
And the funny thing is, people think their business is the particular technical thing they do, like fix leaks, fix teeth, whatever, whether they're a dentist or a plumber. But that's not what people talk about. Yeah. Nobody leaves a dental office and boast all their friends, "I had a cavity and he fixed it." Like, nobody says that. But they'll say, "You wouldn't believe it. I was in the waiting room. It took an extra 2 minutes. They brought me a Starbucks coffee." That's what they talk about. Yeah. They talk about the extras, and that becomes your brand. That becomes your brand. I have a high brand to my wife's girlfriends. My wife's girlfriends say, "I wish my husband would massage my feet." And so she gets to feel good. Yeah. She gets to look good. Yeah. And so I have a high brand in front of my wife's girlfriends. Yeah. Got a high brand in front of my clients because I give them little extras.
But it's consistency, isn't it? Yeah. It's absolute consistency. That's whether you are on stage, whether you're at home. Everywhere. And it's just being you, isn't it?
You got it.
Now then, let's get down to the book, because you help, how many thousands of people do you know that you have helped? Because obviously with website and tracking that, it's untold, isn't it? How many you must reach so many.
A lot of people around the world. And it's not just that I helped them write a book, because the book isn't the end. The book is the means to the end.
Sure.
You don't want a book. I mean, to some extent you want a book. It's very prestigious. But you want the extra income. You want the branding. You want the prestige. You want people to say, wow. You want somebody to say, listen, I'm the producer of a radio show. Will you come on my show? That's what you want, and that's what a book gives you. So I have a program called 10-10-10, and it means that I help you write a book of 10 chapters in your own words, in 10 hours of your own time, which is unbelievable. But several of my clients have done it in as little as 5 hours, which is crazy. And then I publish it for you. I get the ISBN number for you, that's the barcode on the back. I write the foreword for you. I get the cover for you. And you're holding your finished physical book in your hand 10 weeks from today.
That's incredible.
So it's 10 chapters, 10 hours of your own time, and you're holding the physical published book in your hand in 10 weeks.
Incredible. And so I can imagine that, and I've heard your testimonials, and obviously today you've been in front of an audience, we've heard people get up and speak and say, I've done this and this is what happened, and I've got thousands of pounds
all over the world.
So, inevitably a business owner is a busy person already.
It's 10 hours.
So when they get, I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about the flood of work they get once they've written this book. The inquiries are going to come flooding in. So, you manage your time pretty well, seeing your family flying all over the world. What would you say to the people watching this video and reading this article in Brand Brain? What would you say when you're getting that balance right? What does that look like when you're getting all these...
most businesses... That means the unbranded businesses, almost 97% of businesses are unbranded. They're spending all their energy trying to get a client. When you're branded, clients, prospects, money, gigs, and opportunities come to you. So you'll actually be spending your time serving customers as opposed to trying to get a customer.
Yeah.
When you try to get a customer, you're making not a penny.
Yeah.
When you're serving your customers, you're making all that money.
Yeah.
And so your life goes from not making money to making money, from doing things that hope to get a customer to actually serving customers and making money.
Yeah.
And if I could tell people how to get in touch with me so that...
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So I'll give you 2 websites. If you want to come to my boot camps, they're absolutely free and I hold them all over the world.
We're booked to attend.
Oh, good. Glad you are. You go to millionairebusinessbootcamp.com. Millionairebusinessbootcamp.com. And there's no charge. You may attend because you're listening to this or reading it.
Thank you.
And the other thing is, if you want my book for free, I've written a book called Double Your Income, Doing What You Love. Double Your Income, Doing What You Love. And to get it for free, just go to my website, aaron.com. That's my last name, Aaron, A-A-R-O-N. Go to aaron.com and you'll see a big click here and get Raymond's book for free by instant download. So you get my book for free, you can enjoy it and read it and learn from me at aaron.com, or you can go to millionairebusinessbootcamp.com and directly register for boot camps that I'm holding around the world.
Brilliant. What a gift. Thank you for that.
Help you.
Now, I do want to touch on a story that I've heard you tell before when you were sitting on a plane. So it's like, even when you're trying to get downtime, money just starts coming to you. It is a magnetic brand. It's literally going from invisible to magnetic. Please share the story.
I was sitting in the front row of business class, and there was this big fat guy with his shirt disheveled, and I had worked pretty hard. I was flying from Toronto to San Francisco. It's a 5-hour flight. 5-hour flight to me means dinner and 2 movies. And I'd worked hard all day. I just wanted to rest.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, don't be a talker. And the guy says to me, what's your name? I said, a talker. I said, Raymond. He said, what do you do? I help you double your income doing what you love. He says, no kidding. Do you have a card? I said, no, I don't have a card. Because I didn't want to talk business. He said, you're sitting in business class and you don't have a card. I said, no, I don't have a card. I have a book. What do you mean you have a book? I just want a card. I said, I don't have a card. I have a book. He said, what's your book called? I said, Double Your Income Doing What You Love. He says, no kidding. Because he couldn't believe the coincidence. So I said, hold on. I think I have a copy in my briefcase. I always have a copy. So I opened it up and I said, what's your first name? What's your spouse's first name? I autographed it to him. I gave it to him. And I said to myself, read the book. I just wanted to watch 2 movies. And he said something that I hope no man would ever say to me. He said, do me. I said, do me? What are you talking about? And he says, well, you double my income doing what I love. We got 5 hours doing me right now. And I just wanted to get rid of the guy. So in my worst sneer, I mean, I was degrading, I was demeaning to the guy. I did everything I could to insult him, just to get rid of him. I said, I charge for it, sir. In a real, like, belittling manner. I'm embarrassed, but I just wanted to get rid of the guy. And he said, how much? I said, oh, for God's sake, $5,000 for a 50-minute hour. He said, do you take Visa? I'm on an airplane. Don't have a little cha-ching machine with me. Anyways, the guy took out a little napkin and he wrote his name, his American Express card number, $5,000. And I said, fine. And I told him a lot of what I'm telling you, and before the 50 minutes was up, he said, I've learned so much, thank you. And when I got off the plane, I called my office. The $5,000 went right through. It's about £3,000. And I didn't have to do anything for it. I paid for my next vacation. And I couldn't stop the money coming in. I couldn't stop it. But here's the funny thing. If I didn't have a book, and a guy sat down beside me and I said, hey, sir, you know, I can make you more money. Give me $5,000 and I'll make you more money. He would have called the flight attendant over and had me evicted from the airplane. But because I had a book, no matter how mean I was, no matter how much I pushed him away, I couldn't stop the sale. Because the book was selling me harder than I could turn the guy off. That's what a book does.
Incredible. And so you've got all these inquiries that are coming in, and you've got a team behind this. You've got a personal book architect who works with
each person
with your clients
to make sure they finish their book.
Miss Whiplash.
She's
someone to make sure they finish.
She's not tough. She's just a great accountability coach. Like if you say to her, you're going to do the next task at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and she knows it takes 43 minutes to do that task, she'll say to you, I expect an email from you at 7:44 p.m. You might say, oh, she means it. Ooh, I better sit down exactly at 7 o'clock. And so she really holds your feet to the fire and makes sure you get done what you say.
Perfect. And just to end this fantastic interview, thank you so much for your time. If you had one thing that you would say to our brand brain readers to just go away and do, you must do this thing, or your business will never be as successful as you want it to be, and you will never live the life that you want to live, what would that be?
I'll give you 2 answers. The first answer is you need to write a book because you need to be branded. And I can help you do that. And I appreciate your interviewing me. But the other is going to be kind of a right brain answer, and that's by telling you one of my favorite quotes. And one of my favorite quotes is, snowmen fall to earth unassembled. And what I mean by that is, most people just see the snow. And then if they see past the snow, they see that they have to shovel their driveway, that there's going to be traffic accidents. So they either just see what's in front of them, or they see bad news. And I want your listeners, your readers, your clients, your subscribers to see the snowmen. I want them to be like little children with wonderful opportunities everywhere, nothing holding them back, no emotional scars. Open yourself up and realize that snowmen fall to earth unassembled. 97% of the people only see back pain from shoveling the snow and traffic accidents and traffic delays. Be that small percent that sees the blessing that branding can be. Be the small percent that realizes that your magazine can change their life, but they have to grab that opportunity. They have to see past the snow to the snowman.
Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.